Hey family, happy Saturday. My name is Sharita Morgan, and I am the behavior and learning strategist coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and learning challenges. We're going to be talking today about making sure our children are working harder, teaching them how to go the extra mile, okay? This was on my mind and on my heart because a lot of kids today are in classrooms and they're not acting like students and they don't want to do work. And the teacher has to work so hard for our kids to put forth the minimal effort, right? The minimum effort. The teacher's working so hard. And how do we change that, right? We're going to talk about this, and let me know, comment below what you think about this issue, and also comment below what you think we need to do to change it, because I'm going to tell you what I think, but I want to hear from you. Okay, click like, click share, and let's get this party going. And don't forget to click that follow button, because we are changing the game in the classrooms from home. Okay, where you hear all the time teachers on social media saying, parents, we need you, we need your help, and they're giving tips for things that you could do at home, or telling you what the kids need so they could show up like a champion in the classroom. And so what I'm doing is giving you strategies, proven strategies that I have used over the years to help kids go the extra mile naturally. Help kids complete their assignments. Like, their mind is focused on completing their assignments and doing it independently, doing their best, checking their work, going the extra mile. Okay. So, a little bit about me. Like I said, I'm a behavior and learning strategist, and I have experience as a mental health specialist, a special education teacher, and also I homeschooled my children for a few years. I like to talk from the parent side and also the teacher side, because I can understand both, okay? I can understand both, and I also understand what the magic is that's needed to turn things around. I've created it in my classrooms as a special education teacher, and then as a mental health specialist. I've created transformations, been part of a team that created transformations in our children for years. And also in my tutoring coaching program. So what I'm working to do is to take the transformations, the growth, the progress, the results that I've created on a smaller level, and see if we can work together so that, and I'm saying see if, but really I'm saying this is what we're doing. We're working together so that we can, parents from home, create changes and transformations so we can send our kids to school equipped for success and have them change the game in the classroom. All right. So let's talk about it. Let me ask you a question first. Parents, moms at home, is it difficult for you to get your child to do the most basic things? Right. So let's start there before we even talk about the classroom. Okay. Because I know that parents at home are struggling too. Okay, is it difficult for you to get your child to complete their homework, or to read a book, or to write, or to clean their rooms, to help out around the house, right? Is that difficult for you? And if it's difficult for you, like I said, we're going to talk about it. But when we send our kids to school, they have the same mindset. And all day they are avoiding work. Okay, they become pros at it. A lot of kids have become pros at avoiding work, or getting adults to come around and help them, so that it could be easier for them, or they have to do just a small amount of work. And so let's visit an area at home that a lot of parents complain about, right? Okay, so when it's time for homework, a big issue that I see is kids are not focused on working harder are going the extra mile because, like I said, they're avoiding working in the beginning in the first place. And they want their parents to be very involved, or they don't even want to be given the work in the first place. They complain and moan. So what ends up happening is you give them less and less. What ends up happening is you end up feeling like you have to sit next to them and help them through everything, right? It's one of the most difficult things as a parent that I had to learn to do, is walk away when my child had a task to complete. Walk away. Let them start it on their own and walk away. And then as soon as they run into a challenge, what do? We appear and we start solving it for them. That's a huge mistake, and it's also difficult. Last night, my daughter was making a little mug cake. We have a recipe that she can make her own cake in a mug and put it in the microwave, and then she makes the frosting and put it in the microwave. And so she wanted to use what's the little piping thing that you can use to get the frosting and decorate the cake. And she was having a hard time. She was trying to pour it because the frosting was a little liquidy, right? It wasn't hard, but she liked it like that. She was trying to pour it, and then she dropped the bowl, and she said, and then I immediately said, use a spoon. And then I thought about it. I said, you know what? I shouldn't have told you. I should have let you think and figure out what you wanted to do, right? And then she, and she said, no, it's okay. But that's me telling her, and then also telling myself, chill. You know what I mean? If she dropped something, like my cell phone just dropped because someone just called. But if she dropped something, it's okay. She could pick it up, and then she could think and figure out the next step. So this is one of the most difficult things for parents to do, is when our kids are doing homework, and as soon as they come to a question or a math problem and they don't have the answer right away, and it's not easy for them, they start looking around, or even if they say, I don't know how to do this, or this is hard, or we didn't learn this in school, we'll be flying with our cape, So that's one of the things that we need to do. We need to give them space to think. And when they have space to think about what they're going to do, a lot of times they figure it out. Right? And for me, I don't allow my students to say, or my kids to say, I don't know how to do this. This is hard. I can't do this. As soon as they start talking like that, I'm like, what? We don't say that. We don't say I got this. And I always figure it out. And one of my students was struggling through a word, and that's how I redirected him. And then in the end, he figured it out. And I said, see, you figured it out, didn't you? He said, yes. See, here's the thing. They feel much better about themselves when they work through it and then figure it out on their own, and not in, even if they'll get the right answer at first, but they came to a conclusion. They say, I think this is the right answer. I think this is the right answer because, and they feel good about it. And then when you check it later, instead of telling them the right answer, you can ask them questions so that they can again arrive at their own conclusion, at their own process. We have to let them have this process. So that's the first part of making sure our kids are working harder. So when they go into school, they don't give up at the drop of a dime, at the drop of a hat, and wait for the teacher to come in and fix everything. It's giving them time to think and not being so available, ready to fly with our cape, and then we start fixing things, we start touching things, okay? All right, which leads me to number 2. When we want our kids to work harder and learn how to work harder, is when they run into a problem. Don't go in with your own hands and fix everything for them. Don't do that. Let them use their own hands. Let them use their own hands. Again, last night when my daughter was making a mug cake, she can read. She reads very well. But I was her assistant on the side so that she can concentrate on measuring out the ingredients, doing everything she needed to do. I was just reading the steps. And I was quiet, and I let her think. And I watched her think a few times. I watch the process. So I understand the process my daughter goes through when she's trying to figure something out. When, at what point she wants to be creative or try something else. At one point where she was going to do something, but she thought, nah, I'm not going to do that. Let me try it like this. I just watched her, just observe. And at no point did I go in with my own hands and start arranging things and measuring things. I did not do that. I just let her do that. Welcome if you're just joining. We are talking about how we can get our kids to have the mindset to work harder and what we as parents can do at home that will have them feel like they could do anything. And so they just keep working and they go the extra mile to get it done. Okay. So, when my daughter, when it was time for her to make her mug cake, she took the recipe, she read the ingredients, and she went and got all the ingredients out the cabinet for on her own. I didn't touch a thing. She set them up on the table. She double checked to make sure she had everything. Usually she reads, like I said, but I was reading so she could concentrate on measuring. She measured all the ingredients. She made the mug cake herself. Put it in the microwave. She checked afterwards because that's what the instructions say. You gotta check, you gotta poke it to see how it feels and see if it's done. She checked. Then she put that to the side. Then she got her frosting recipe and she made that herself. And when she took that first bite, she loved it, but she was so proud because she had done it herself. And see, since she had done it herself, two things happened. One, she realized that I believed in her enough that she could do it. Two, she's getting, because she's done this before, better and better each time. So when our kids practice the same thing over and over, they get better and better each time. And what was hard now becomes easy. That leads me to number 3, okay? Number 3 is practice. Make sure our kids are doing a task. Make sure they are doing a task and make sure they're doing it again and again and again and again and again. If something is hard for them at first and they either do it, they don't do it, or they do it with the help of an adult next to them, guess what? Next time, it's going to still be hard. And they will never build that confidence. And they will never build the skills. So we have to apply this in every area of their lives, whether it's like my daughter making a mug cake recipe, whether it's reading, whether it's writing, whether it's doing chores, whatever it is, we have to make sure that our kids are constantly doing things. The reason why our kids are not doing things is because we are not assigning things for them to do. Because a lot of us are kind of letting our kids guide the whole situation. So they're doing what they want to do. They want to spend time on their iPad. They're asking for the iPad. And if we tell them, no, practice your multiplication tables, they're like, oh, and they want to do the iPad. And they ask so much, can I play my iPad? Or I want to do the iPad. They focus on it so much. They ask us over and over and over and over and over, can I watch TV? Can I watch TV? Can I watch TV? And they tell us what they want to do. And they tell us what they don't want to do. Or they protest, and then what do? We end up letting that, whatever they want to do, lead the way. But are they growing? Are they overcoming challenges? Are they overcoming obstacles? Are they building confidence? Are they building skills? No. So parents, you have the right and the responsibility to plan your child's day, especially when summer is coming, okay? Plan your child's day. Whatever you think they need to, wherever you think they need to grow, and whatever you think they need to get better at, that's what they should be doing. Now, remember, I told y'all about having our kids write down the steps, the things we want them to do for us or them or chores or whatever task we want them to do. We have them write it down. Remember we talked about that? This is so important because you give directions and then they forget and they spin it around, or if they don't want to do it, they are accountable because they have their lists. So having them write down on Saturday and Sunday And then every day when they're not in school, tasks for the day, okay? And that includes chores, which brings me to the next one, okay? Chores. Our kids need chores, okay? They need to be contributing to the household. So having them write down what they need to do every day and then having them go and complete it and check it off is going to help them become responsible. It's going to help them with executive functioning. It's going to help them build work ethic, okay? It's going to help them develop responsibilities, right? The responsibility, it's really important for them to do. So one of the things that with my child that I'm doing right now, besides the chores and other tasks that needs to be done, she's writing down, she's taking ownership, but having her practice her multiplication 9 times tables. So she's practicing, she has to write them 6 times each. She writes that down on her task list. And then later on, or the next day, the morning, we were outside, we were watering the plants. We got some seeds planted, you know. We have some herbs that came up from last year. So we outside every day checking on the plants, watering the plants, and checking on our seedlings. We're doing all of that. But she has chores there too. She has certain responsibilities just for her, okay? She has certain plants that only she takes care of. Give them responsibility. We need our kids to be working all the time, right? But while we're doing that and we're waiting for the water to fill up, we're pouring water in a bucket so we can go ahead and water the plants in the front. I said, all right, run them by me in 9 times tables. So she's doing her 9 times tables, and she could just be in the house on the iPad. You know what I mean? She could just be sitting down and not doing nothing and wanting to be on the iPad, right? But we're outside. We're doing things, and she's doing her times tables, her 9 times tables. And then I told her, all right, so today I want you to write your 9 times tables 6 times each, and then you're going to show it to me when I come back. I drove out, and I'm going to be back home in a few. Have it done by the time I get back. You remember we was growing up, our moms left lists on the refrigerator of tasks we needed to do and said this needs to be done by the time I come back. That helped us build work ethic. That's why we can hold down jobs. That's why we can go in there and we can even be in management positions, or we could be CEOs or business owners, is because we learned how to manage tasks and get things done. So we have to teach our children the same thing. When they're at home, they should have responsibilities that we give them that they do on a daily basis, and they should be contributing to the house. They should have chores. They also should have independent study activities that they do that help grow them. They should be focusing on something also that they love to do, their own interests, and work on that every day, right? Our kids should be doing something. And we have to get them used to waiting for us or being ready for us to say, hey, I need you to do this, or go and take care of this, and then them going to do it. So because if they sit at home and they only focus on what they want to do, and they're being well taken care of, because you know our generation, we love on our kids. We take care of them really, really well. We pay them a lot of attention. And if that's their whole day and they are not also contributing, they're not also working, they're not also moving and shaking, they're not also developing themselves, they're not used to a pencil and a paper, you know, or a book that they have to read every day for 15 minutes. If they're not used to any of these things, when they go into the classroom, the teacher tells them to do the assignment, right? And this is regular stuff that they're supposed to be doing in school anyway. They're going to have to come from a place of just being sedentary, or just not doing much. Their body's not used to it. Their brain's not used to it. That's just not something that they normally do. So they have to pull themselves. And when I tell you, like, I noticed this with students that been working with over the years. Like, their body language will tell you when they sit in the chair and it's time to work, but they lay way back and they chill and everything. And then I tell them, okay, it's time to write. Here's your writing prompt. You have 10 minutes. I'm setting the timer, go. They have to pull themselves out from their chill stance to then pick up a pencil. And then by the time they do all of that, they already thinking about how to get out of it. And then after a while, when they're used to me, every time they see me pick up your pencil, write your name and date, here's your writing prompt. Here are your math problems for the day. Here are your word problems for the day. Click on that link. I have this quiz on a Google form for you to complete. They're used to working when they come to my class. So then they're ready. We have to make sure our kids are ready. We have to make sure they know what work is. We have to make them work hard. Okay? We're not even talking about basics, right? Because if our kids, like, for example, if they have to write, and they're not used to writing a paragraph, and they're used to writing maybe one sentence or 2 words, and they say, I don't know what else to write, I couldn't think of anything, then we need to get them to write a paragraph every day, and then 2 paragraphs. Because if we make them write more than what they're used to, or even what they're required to do in school, when they're in school, this is now boom, 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 done. Okay? This is why I always challenge my students. This is why I challenge them at a high level. And this is why when I'm teaching them and they're able to do something, I'm like, all right, well, can you do this? Well, what about this? And what about this? And I'll be throwing different things at them, see what they can do. I'll be trying to catch them slipping. And I talk to them like that. They're like, Michelle, you're not going to catch me slipping. I'm like, here I come. Y'all ain't going to be able to do this. You ready? Because kids love being challenged, and they love when they get to that point where they know how to work, they know how to figure things out. They don't give up. They keep going. They want to see if the answer they came up with, they're waiting to see what the actual answer is, to see if they got it. When they get to that point, they have a mindset now where they are looking for the challenge. They are looking for opportunities to grow. They are looking to get better today than yesterday. They're looking to conquer this thing today that they couldn't figure out yesterday. You understand? Their mindset changes. So what kind of kid do you want your child to go to school and be? Do you want your child to go to school and like they don't really feel like being there? They don't feel like doing work. They complain every time the teacher tells them to do an assignment. When they start doing it, they take a long time because they keep taking breaks and they're not working. I always say, keep that pencil moving, right? They're not used to working, so they don't finish by the end of the class, and then it becomes homework, but then they don't do it for homework, but then the next day the teacher's still giving them more time. By the way, and I have to go. This is why I'm talking about this. This is so important. It's so important to make our kids work harder. It's so important to help them build up that muscle, okay? Where they are proud of working harder and going the extra mile and doing what they have to do. Because here's what's happening. When we send our kids to school and they don't have that muscle built up, and the teacher has to fight battles every single day to get them to do assignments, what the teacher starts doing is lowering the expectations. They start asking them to do less and less. A lot of times, I'm not saying all, but a lot of teachers end up doing that because it's so difficult to get them to do the minimum. Okay? So we don't want the standards in our classes, in our schools, to be low because the kids are fighting so hard not to work and they're not showing up like champions and doing their best. We don't want that. We want our kids to go to school showing up like a champion, showing up like I'm going to be excellent today. I'm going to do my best today. I'm going after it today. I'm an A student. You know what I mean? Even if they struggling with their grades, they're growing, and then next market period they might not get it. The next market period they might, but the third market period they might finally get to that A. We want our kids to be focused on growth and focused on a goal. And if our children are in the classrooms thinking about being excellent and thinking about growing and going after it, now our teachers can have a higher standards because they got motivated kids to work with. So let's make sure our kids are working harder at home so that they go to school self-motivated so we can have excellence in the classrooms. Your child can get A's and B's. Their child can get A's. All children can get A's. And every child deserves to get that first A if they've been struggling for a long time. And I've experienced it with my students in my tutoring coaching programs over the years, when they finally get to that point where they get the A for the first time and they're like, you understand? So every child can do it. And you have to believe that, all right? So the first thing we talked about what we're going to do to change the game in the classroom, because I have to go, is making sure we send our kids to school with the mindset that they're going to respect the teachers and authority in the classroom. Okay. Number 2, we're going to teach our kids how to master routines and transitions. And now number 3, we're going to teach our kids how to work harder and go the extra mile. Okay. Now, if you want to keep talking together and working together so that we can change the game in the classroom, parents, click that follow button and click that share button, because I got more coming for you real soon. Okay. Also, my tutoring coaching program, open enrollment. My parent coaching, I have a few slots open for parents who want to change the game at home, okay? And improve behavior and learning from home so that their kids can go to school like a champion, okay? So just message me through WhatsApp on my page, or message me here, and then we can set you up for a free consultation for either your child or yourself, or both. We got you, all right? Believe in yourself, believe in your child, honey. Always remember that growth is unlimited, and we got this. Peace.